I want to talk about the depression and loneliness, especially in the INFJ personality type. Now, I don't think that the INFJ is the only personality that gets this. Of course, this is a human condition that can affect anybody and all of us. But INFJs feel this isolation and loneliness, especially more than a lot of other types. Hi, I'm Tom, and welcome to the INFJ Experience. And I'd like to talk about things that are part of the INFJ experience as far as what affects our lives and how we can cope with them. So after saying that, we're going to talk about what makes us depressed and lonesome, and why it is we feel it harder, deeper than others. Well, the thing is that first of all, we are an introverted type anyway, so we're always craving alone time to begin with. I mean, that's part of our component of cope. Is that's part of our recentering package already? Is that we need to pull back within our own mind, within our own introversion, in order to feel a sense of centeredness, of feeling like we have been grounded in ourselves. So, but during that time, sometimes we go a little, we can actually feel like we get a little lost. We can feel like there's no one to talk to while we're in these depressive states or in these isolated states. It could lead us to the depressive state, is what I meant to say. And being that we're rare, I mean, we don't have a lot of connection. There's not a lot of people to talk to this about. There's not a lot of people that can relate to this kind of empty feeling that we have. So we tend to suffer alone because there's really just nothing out there for us other than ourselves. So we go further into our own psyche to kind of express where we are. So we kind of pull in. It's kind of like our own fault in a way. I mean, not that it's our fault, but we kind of pull ourselves into these depressive moments all on our own. But after saying that, we're constantly trying to better ourselves. I mean, as people. I mean, but at the same time, I mean, it causes us a lot of despair in our heart because we're so isolated and there's nothing really to turn to. I would imagine from my own standpoint, even at an early age, I remember being less than 10 years old. I remember there were bouts where I used to go off and drift off to places and just play alone sometimes. I mean, of course, I had brothers, and sometimes we hung out together. But there were moments where I did things by myself, and it seemed like I'd spend hours in canyons, just playing. And back in the day we were growing up, it was a little different. Our parents weren't constantly watching us all the time. I mean, we had a different world back when we were younger. But I seem to remember just always wondering why I was alone a lot. I always used to wonder. In fact, my mom used to say I was alone a lot, and she used to feel bad in some ways but a lot of it is that's just the way I was built. But after saying that, it wasn't until I got older in life I remember going through bouts of depression and things like that. And I remember trying to turn to people, trying to turn to certain people, maybe turn to uh, maybe my mom, my friends, or maybe just people. But they never, when you tried to express yourself, when you tried to talk about how deep your emotions were, it was usually met with superficiality. I mean, just your standard, ideas of, well, you need to find a hobby. Maybe you need to find friends that align with you, that have your same hobbies and things like that. They were always the very stereotypical, superficial ones. And of course, not to mention that occasionally, I mean, somebody might say you need to take, medication, maybe antidepressants, and they want you to get on some kind of medicine in order to cope with it. And I always knew that wasn't the answer. So, for one thing, I wouldn't recommend anybody doing medication unless under extreme situations that you're maybe suicidal or destructive and you think you're going to hurt somebody or yourself. I wouldn't want to advise that, because you're altering your mind, your chemicals, you're putting in false inputs into your neurons, and you're basically just hurting yourself in the long run. And the side effects of these things are not good. When you get off them, you're actually more depressed if you finally get off the medication. So when you get on them, you're on them for good. So don't go down that avenue if you can. You need to be strong and face your depressions in a strong manner and face them head on. like the matador faces the bull in order to be the matador. Maybe seem harsh, but that's one of the things that has to be done, is that you take on these things head on. Now, as INFJs, I mean, we're strong-minded people, and we have had a lot of bouts of depression throughout our entire life. But now that you are aware, by just being aware of who you are, aware that you have these proclivities, aware that this is where you need to go at some points. I mean, understanding your isolation is part of you. And according to that, I mean, your loneliness is another side effect of your isolation. It's another part that just happens because of it. Well, just knowing that this is who you are and the way you're built, it's almost like these are necessary struggles that have to be faced. Yes, I know that's harsh, but this is what's going to strengthen you, and this is what's going to get you out of this. Is just knowing that facing these things is the only thing you have to do. You look in nature, I mean, look at trees. You look at bushes. You look at the plant life. Trees live their entire lives outside, and they have the four seasons. They have the storms. They have the winds. They have the elements constantly on them. They're always outside, so they're actually strengthening. If it wasn't for the fact that they had harsh weather, if everything was mild and there was nothing, they wouldn't grow strong. They would not grow as tall as they were. You figure this, the swaying and the moving of the winds are constantly building these trees. They're actually fortifying them by the motion. They're exercising them in a way so they're growing stronger. They're growing up. They're reaching further up so that they can receive the photosynthesis from the sun by being taller than the other trees around them. So this is a necessary stress for them in order to grow stronger and taller and survive. So if you take it from this standpoint, our human soul is the same way, is that we need these necessary stresses to survive in our own life, that we have to have these stresses to make us grow, to make us build in our own right. And by understanding them, by facing them, by looking at them head on, by knowing that these are not just stresses in our life, these are actual spiritual longings for something deeper. Just as the tree may reach, the leaves of the tree may reach for the sun and reach for the sunshine of the photosynthesis that give it the essence of its life. Our soul is reaching, it's striving for that same sunlight, not necessarily the same sun, but the sun of our spirit, the sun of our creator, the sun of our center of our that we strive for, basically our creator. We're striving for that, so that ache in our heart is actually we're aching for our completion with our creator, with God. Now, depending on your spiritual level or your religious level, everybody's different. I know there's a lot of atheists out there. I know there could be some agnostics and people that may not align with that thinking, but somehow there's something that you gravitate toward. Maybe it's universal law, but there's something that you're reaching for instinctively. But the thing is, if we're escaping from it, if we're running from it, if we're somehow putting a roadblock in those reachings, if we're somehow taking this pain and we're subduing them with narcotics or pleasures or something to distract us, then we're never going to find this. We're never going to find some kind of level of the next level of strength, next level of completion within our soul. So these are important lessons to learn as far as that goes, is that we need to find the balance. I mean, we have to just have the understanding that these are necessary stresses in our life that pull us, that strengthen us, that define us as humans. Now, the INFJ personality type, as I said before, we tend to feel these deeper and more meaningful in our heart because of our isolation, but also our strength. And our resolute, something within our soul is geared to suffer. We are meant to find these things. And so after saying that, if you persevere in this and let these things happen in your soul and just kind of let them be there, maybe let the tears flow if you have to. Go find a private place and let them be without escaping them. You'll eventually find a peace and a calmness within your soul that you have been meant to find. Then you'll know that, this is what I've been looking for. And all of a sudden, that soulmate you were looking for, it's in a sense you find a completion. You may find out that your soulmate was not necessarily another person, was not necessarily be your wife or your husband, your spouse. It wasn't always meant to be, but it was just meant to be a completion within your heart that you had to find, that wholeness within your soul that you found. And that's truly where it is. So maybe this is a little deep. Maybe this is what you've been looking for, but for the INFJ said, this is how I found it, and this is how I interpret it, how I found things in my heart, and this is the journey I had, and this is where I'm at right now. I have found a certain wholeness in my heart. Now, not to say it's a perfection. You're never not going to get sad. I mean, yes, there's still bouts of sadness. You're always going to think about things that will bring a little bit of sadness, but you do reach a point of just knowing that these are necessary things, and it's all part of your life, and it's part of your growth and where you're going. Well, gosh, people, I said a lot. I just let that flow out. It just kind of came out. That's the way I like to do my videos. I like things to just kind of flow out like that and just happen as they go along. Well, people, listen, I would hope you want to subscribe to my channel, and so I can keep making content like this, so I can put this out, and so I can make more. Please give me some thumbs up, give me some comments, let me know you like this content, and I'd like to continue doing this. So I just want to build a community of INFJs, that we have a sanctuary, a kind of a place to go, a brotherhood, a sisterhood, a community of INFJs where we can go together and hang out and feel like we're not so alone together. Well, anyway, people, thank you so much for attending today, and have a wonderful rest of your day.